Good morning, students. I want to welcome you to GSS 3 CRS online class. Today we'll be dealing with a topic, Paul at Lystra. Paul at Lystra. And our texts will be taken from the entire book of Acts chapter 14. Acts chapter 14. Earlier we discussed beforehand how the missionary journey of Apostle Paul began, and he had with him the other man who was his mentor, Barnabas. They had traveled from place to place, and at this point they were at Lystra. They came to Lystra. When they got to Lystra, there was a man sitting down. The man could not use his feet because he was a cripple from birth. He listened to Paul speaking, and Paul, after looking at him intently, saw that the man had faith to be healed. And Paul said in a loud voice, "Stand upright on your feet." And the man jumped up and began to walk. Now when the crowd saw what Paul had done, they lifted up their voices in the language of the Lycaonian. They concluded and shouted that the gods had come down to them in the likeness of men. That was their conclusion, because they were idol worshippers. Immediately they called Barnabas Zeus or Jupiter, which in Greek mythology referred to the father of the gods. And Paul, because he was the chief speaker, they called him Hermes or Mercury. The chief priest of Zeus began to make arrangements because he wanted to offer a sacrifice to them. But Paul and Barnabas stopped them, and they told them, "Men, why are you doing this? We are only men like you. We are bringing you good news, telling you to turn from these worthless things," that is the idols, "to the living God." But later some Jews came there from Antioch and Iconium and succeeded in persuading the people to stone Paul, whom they dragged out of the city when they thought he was dead. However, when they left him and went away, when the disciples of Christ gathered about him, he got up and went back into the city. The next day, he and Barnabas left the city for Derbe. This is the account of the missionary journey of Paul with his partner Barnabas at Lystra. From there, we move on to conflict resolution. Conflict resolution. Let me start by defining what conflict is. Conflict is strong disagreement and argument between two or more parties about something important. Conflict means strong disagreement and argument between two or more parties about something important. Conflict is natural and inevitable in the society. Conflict comes from time to time. We cannot escape it. However, there are wrong ways of resolving conflict, and I would like to mention a few of them, just about 6 wrong ways of resolving conflicts. The first one is by avoiding conflict. By avoiding conflict. Not everybody likes conflict. Most of us don't like it, but trying always to avoid conflict without trying to face the conflict and resolve it is not a positive way of handling conflict. The second wrong way of resolving conflict is by fighting the other person or group involved in the conflict. By fighting the other person or group. The third way of resolving conflict is by blaming the other person or group. By blaming the other person or group. Number 4 way, a wrong way of resolving conflict is by killing the other person or group. Killing people does not resolve conflict. It only adds to the problem. Number 5 wrong way of resolving conflict is by criticizing the other person or group. Criticizing the other person or group. And then the final way of resolving conflict is by taking vengeance. Taking vengeance, which is not the Christian way. Now, handling conflicts wrongly can lead to negative feelings from both sides. It can also lead to loss of life and property. Now, let's quickly look at right ways of resolving conflict. Right ways of resolving conflict. The number 1 is dialogue. Both parties should be called together to find a common solution. So, dialogue is the best option in conflict resolution. Instead of engaging in any of the wrong ways that we have discussed so far, we should do our best to involve in dialogue. So I will stop here for the day, and I will want to say goodbye. But before I do so, I would like to ask you a few questions to take home as your assignment. Please write down these questions and submit at the appropriate time. Question number 1. Question number 1. Where did Apostle Paul heal the man who was crippled? Where did Apostle Paul heal the man who was crippled? Question number 2. What did Paul see about the man that made him conclude that he could be healed? What did Paul see in the man that made him conclude that the man could be healed? Now, question number 3. What is conflict? What is conflict? And finally, question number 4. Mention 2 wrong ways of resolving conflict. Mention 2 wrong ways of resolving conflict. With this, I would like to say goodbye and God bless you till the next lesson. Thank you.